Currently, I'm the president this year of Asian Students in Action Asia, and we meet every Wednesdays in the Mississippi room at 6 p.m. Oh, actually 5. I'm sorry, 5 to 6. And I think Asia was established back in about 2001. Well, Asia's mission is to basically kind of spread awareness of Asian culture, just to the campus and also to the community. So we do like go around and talk about Asia and stuff, but we also like hold events. One thing that sets us apart from all the cultural organizations is that we are more of an educational nonprofit organization. So what we do is that we hold events like workshops and stuff to kind of like teach our community here about like just some social justice issues within our Asian community, not just in St. Cloud, but also like just around the world as well. As president, I think one of my goals was actually to try to get our name out there more, and also like just have more like involvement with other organizations and collaboration like that. Because next semester we actually have an event called Unity Day, and we're trying to involve at least like 10 different cultural organizations. And basically, our Social Justice Week, what we hold every semester in the fall and stuff, it's the purpose of it is just to, like I said earlier, to educate, you know, like students and our faculty and stuff here about like social justice issues within the Asian community. And I mean, it doesn't really even have to be social justice issues, just maybe like some of the like issues of immigrating here. And our goal this year was kind of to try to recruit more members, because in the cultural organizations here, they're kind of like segregated. So like there's like the Hmong student organization, there's the Filipino association or something like that. But Asia is kind of open to all just ethnic Asians. So it doesn't really matter what kind of Asian you are, you can come and join. Even if you're not Asian, you're welcome to come join. We're always on Main Street and also Side Street too for next semester. And if they want to come, then just come to the meetings. I think that's about it. I mean, how would they contact us? Email, Facebook. We have a Facebook group. Find me. Yeah, or any of our board members too. If they're interested, then they just tell us, and then, yeah. I mean, there hasn't been as much, I would say, but some of the things that we do talk about is like racism and stuff. But then, I mean, not extreme because it's not as relevant or like current and stuff, but just more of like subtle racism. Well, funny story, I wouldn't say it's like, I know racism, when like people talk about it, it's always like, oh, like it's such a serious issue, and you know, and it's like kind of uncomfortable, like it's something people don't want to talk about. But for me, I think coming here, I haven't really experienced anything like too crazy where like I'd get angry or something, there's like that person's racist. But I think one thing that has happened that's kind of funny to me, I feel that it's just funny, is that like sometimes, you know, I'm Hmong, right? So then sometimes people ask me, where are you from? But then the question, where are you from, isn't really specific, because it's like, where am I from? Like, are you talking about where I'm from, like originally, or where am I from, like my house, where I live? Or because like right now I live here, but then I'm also from St. Paul. So then like it's funny because like I've gotten that like a few times where people were just like, where are you from? And I'm just like, I'm from St. Paul, like the city. And they're like, no, where are you from? I was like, St. Paul. Like, where else? And they're like, no, like originally. I was like, oh, okay, originally? Well, you know, it's like, okay, my parents, I was born in Thailand. And they're like, okay, that makes sense. So like I think it's just, I mean, I don't think there's any racism, but it's just a little bit like the communication. It's just like sometimes people find things to be racist, but then the only problem with that is just that there's that miscommunication. So I think if people are a little bit more specific and clear what they're saying, then racism, people wouldn't assume things as if they're racism or something like that.
My organization is Vietnamese Student Association, VSA, and this year I'm the president of VSA, and we have like weekly meetings, so we meet every week. Our organizations have about like 40 members. Our organization wants to get all the Vietnamese students on campus or in St. Cloud communities together And moreover, we want to get people like from other different countries to join our groups. So we not just have only Vietnamese students, but we have other students join our group too. In our organization, we try to get diversity members in our group, like we don't racist or anything like that. We want to have people from different race and different countries in our group, like make it diversity. We always, like every year, we have tables in Main Street or Side Street so students can sign up. Also, if you know any Vietnamese student, you could ask them about the weekly meetings so you can come to our meetings and join us. I just want to say that VSA always welcome you, like doesn't matter what country is you from or what race you are. We always welcome students to join our groups. Actually, I think I do have some, yeah, some of them, like some American people really like shows that they don't like Asians or something like that. They just kind of ignore our questions if we ask something. Actually, my friends, I have one friend and she told me that she uh, she work in a group and then there are two American students and then her as an Asian, and then the two American students like kind of don't talk to her even though they are in the same group, and they're also being really lazy, like make her do a lot of work.
I'm in Korean Association Club and I'm just a member. We just started last 2 weeks ago and we have 13 members, and it's really a few because we only have a few Korean people are here, so we just want to make a club of 13 people right now. Maybe hope in future there will be more. The goal is that we want more Korean people to come to St. Cloud's, and we go to more to university school because it's very few of us be in university because we're just like immigrants, and then we're like top people to be like here because we don't have education much. So we're thinking about doing Korean New Year, and for the New Year we're gonna go in St. Paul and then do some New Year and then do some kind of performing like Korean, and then do a booth of St. Cloud. There's food and there's like modeling and showing Korean clothes, different kind of Korean clothes, and some Korean culture stuff. Other people can join and then learn more about Korean people, because we do want to like make people notice because we're just new and then people would like never hear about Korean people before, like they don't know where Korean came from, and then they probably think, oh, it's Korean, and then no, we're not Korean, it's Korean from Burma. It's a different races, and yeah, like people don't know about Korean. No, because if I experience it, I would like get, if I mean, I wouldn't get involved with it. I would like go away from it, and then, but not in the campus. But I did experience it in the store. Like when I go to the store, when I was looking at clothes, and this lady just like come like before me start cleaning up stuff, I think I couldn't afford it or something. Like I'm messing up her clothes or something. I'm like, okay, I'm looking at just clothes, you know, for her to buy, and then she's just on the way, and it's trying to clean up. I'm like, When we got to St. Paul, I noticed there's a lot of Korean people. They got bullied by people here, and then there would be a fight, and then they would join gang because of they feel like they're not protected, and then there would be a lot of fights there because they feel like they're not protected, and they already been through a lot in Burma and stuff. So some kid, they were wearing one of the facial face thing. For in Burma, it's normal for everybody to have the facial stuff. It's called the naka. from a tree where it protects you from the sun. And then when I go to school, people stare. It's like, what is that? I was like, oh, it's a makeup for Korean. And then they were like, oh, okay. And then the teacher was like, oh, don't wear that anymore because you're getting attention, and then people wondering and curious saying what is that, and so don't wear it anymore. So I never wear it to school anymore. It's kind of like a makeup in Burma because protect you from the sun, and then if I didn't wear it to school in Burma, they'd be like, oh, next day wear it. Because it's kind of like cultural stuff. The government in Burma, there's dictator, they were trying to kill off the Korean people. So my dad was murdered by Burma when I was 1 year old. So like, I have to live in a city where there are Burmese people and Korean people, so it's safe for me to live there. But my mom lived in where there's Korean people, there's a lot of soldiers. They're just gonna go there, and if they can stay in your house, like if they stay in your house, you can't tell them to like go away. They stay, you have to feed them, you have to find a space for them to sleep. Like, it's really bad. And if there's ever a war, people will go down to the tunnel where they dig up a hole and then stay underground, and if there's a space for that. Thai people and Burmese people are enemies. So like, we're from Burmese going to Thailand, it's like we're enemies for them. But even though we're not Burmese, we're from Burma. So like, Korean people are like enemies. Like, they will, if they catch us, they will like get us to jail. We have to pay money to get out of it, and they will let us go, and then they will try to catch us again, and then to get money from us, and then just to do that. Because most of the cops in Thailand are like for the money. They will catch us and then get the money and then get out, and then they will, if they find us again, we have to pay money again to get out. So like, most of the Korean people have a lot of failure going to come to America because of that. When I was 12, I lived in Burma. I moved to Thailand, which abandoned all my friends and family, and moved to Thailand, and I didn't speak any Thai, and it was hard for my family. We have to live in one building where we can't go anywhere, because if one of the Thai caught us, they will take us to jail for being immigrants, being in Thailand. We're not supposed to be. So we have to stay very quiet until we got information for UN to come to America. So we have to live in Thailand for years. And then I met some of my friends there, and then I was really close to them. And then when it's time for me to come to America, it was really sad for me because I know I would never see them again. I came to America and I experienced a new thing, where a new friend, new family, a brand new language, and it was kind of hard. But yeah. And there's also a change where, like in Burma, we live where there's no electricity, no nothing. We live by a house. When the sun goes down, we just go to sleep. When the sun come up, we wake up, and then that's how we live. We work and then eat for our meals. And going to Thailand is kind of different because we start to see building, this couch. I remember the first couch I saw, me and my sibling just jump on the couch. We like never see it before, like so comfortable. And then we just play around on the couch. We're like, no, what are you guys doing? And then we're like, okay. And then coming to America, having our own oven and refrigerator, I was like, wow, feels like this is great, you know. Yeah, that was a big change for me.